Hello and welcome back to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann. I am so glad you are here. It is time for another day of Junk Journal July 2026. So let's jump right into our work for today. So grab this out. So it is day 21 and our prompt for today is playing cards. And as I have been doing, I had a page already set aside in the journal for that prompt. And let me go ahead and turn to that page really quickly. And here we go. So I'd set aside this page. And when I did this because it sort of felt a little bit like an old playing card, and these were the two that I had in my stash. I'm not super in love with the back of them, so I thought I could probably use these, and it sort of fit. And then I realized that I really wasn't going to have a whole lot of spot to journal with, and I think I'm okay with that. I think this will just be a page in the journal, and that'll be it, because I don't really want to make a tuck to tuck them into so I could add journaling space on the back, and I really don't want to flip them up either, because I sort of like the idea of layering them like this. So this is kind of my initial thought. And I saw a video, I don't even remember whose video it was, but they basically treated the playing card almost like a little ATC, artist trading card. And I liked that idea, so I thought that I would kind of go that route and create two little artist trading cards and then put them here on the page. So I pulled out a bunch of objects here. I just want to show them to you really quickly. And then we will go ahead and jump in. So I'm going to kind of zoom in and give you a quick tour of what I've got over here. All right, so with my phone off the camera, I can kind of go around and show you some things. So I have these two paper dolls, and they're cute. I think they're fun. They're a little whimsical, and they definitely, at least this one, fits with the summer theme. So these are going to be my two focal points, at least as of now. I pulled some paper scraps from the pages that I've been working on that I thought might work, not only with the background, but also with my dolls. I have these little washi tablets, and there were a couple of images in here that I thought might be fun, so I set those aside. I grabbed some stamps that I just thought were fun, or had some interesting colors. I also grabbed a couple of floral images. Oop, he doesn't belong there. Some labels and some other little miscellaneous bits and pieces. This is actually also a label that I thought I might be able to use. And then some, well, one floral, but then some bugs and some butterflies that I also thought could be kind of fun. So this is sort of my sort of starting stash for this particular page, and I'm sort of excited to see where we end up. So with the tour done, I'm going to set my journal aside for the moment and give a little play with my cards. And yeah, I don't, other than I'm thinking that I might do this one here and this one here. I don't really have another plan other than that. So we'll see where this takes us. be honest, that did not turn out the way that I expected. There were a whole bunch of bits and bobs that I really thought I would use and didn't end up using. And I'm okay with that. I'm just a little surprised as to kind of how this turned out. I think I am gonna still go this route. My original thought was to trim this and keep it all the same on the same card, but I kind of like their feet spilling over, and so I'm gonna leave that the way that it is. And I also kind of like the idea of this card hanging over a little bit, just as a little bit of a page to turn. What I don't like though is the way that this looks on the back. So I think if I do leave it hanging over, I need to do something, because that just does not look interesting or attractive. So if I decide to glue things down, I'll have to fix that. And if I put this like so, I will also need to let my butterfly overlap a tiny bit, and I'm okay with that as well. I'm just feeling like they look a little floaty to me, so I was kind of pondering the idea of maybe using these objects, like perhaps putting this here, and having it sort of kind of come down from the edge, and then maybe this behind it, just to give a little bit of something else on the page. And I kind of like that too. I do think, let me grab my hole punch here, and because I never cut out the inside of this, and I think I need to, and I'm just gonna do it the easy way and use the hole punch, because it's essentially the size of the space I needed to cut out. And then maybe, because I've got some black going on in here and obviously black in the background, maybe I can use this as a little bit of a ribbon to suspend that down. So kind of go so it's sort of inside a bit, and then for now I'll trim it once I get it in place. Oh my, nothing like fighting with the washi tape. All right, so I'll put a little bit of glue on the back of this. And I think maybe to like right there. Yeah. And then I can trim that off. And then I do like this right there, so go ahead. I probably should have put a registration mark on that. So I think I had it about there. All right, and I'm sort of feeling like I just want to go ahead and adhere these down. Before I do that, I am going to grab a little bit, I think, of this and just put it on the back here so that the other side looks a little bit cleaner. All right, so I do need to trim this a little bit. So I just put a little bit of the paper on the back. It's not very pretty because most of it is not going to be visible. So I'm not sweating the details too much in terms of making that precise, because like I said, I'm just going to glue that down. I think the last thing that I want to do before I actually glue is I'm going to grab the color box, I think. Whoa, I've got ink pads going everywhere. So this is just Color Blocks Pigment Black. And I just forgot to grab my So I'm going to go around the edge of the playing card, itself. Oh, that was a little too smudgy. Not going to worry about the ladies, but around the edge of the card itself, because they're sort of a frame to help it pop off the page just the tiniest bit. So I'm not worrying about the butterflies or the dragonfly that are hanging over the edge, just the edge of the card, because that helps it to pop a little bit. All right, so then the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be very intentional about how I glue this down. And I'm going to start with the 3 and work my way from there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I glue this edge and into the middle, and definitely the butterfly because it's going off the page, but then I'm going to leave the rest of this card unglued so that it raises up a little bit, and that will give a sort of a natural dimension. Actually, maybe I'll do that with the whole card, and I'll just worry about the butterfly, so that it raises up a bit and creates its own shadow. So I don't actually have to have it create a shadow because it's kind of creating its own. So I will glue this down in the center, and then I am going to make sure that I get the butterfly sort of into this crease so that when I fold it, it stays intact. But you can already kind of see the card lifts up a bit, and that gives it a little bit of dimension from the page. And then I'll do the same thing on this side. I'll let these go. Again, I'll definitely put glue in the center so that it stays adhered. But I'll let that pop up, and I don't know, you can sort of see the shadow there that is being created. Now, sometimes I create that shadow using like a Sketch and Watch pencil like this one. But in this case, because the cards are kind of thick, I'm just gonna let them kind of pop up themselves and be a little loose. Now I am going to come right in here because I've got this hanging. I don't want that glue to seep. I've got this hanging off of the edge here to be a little bit of a tab. So I'm going to glue it down here because this edge is going to get a little bit of extra stress, and I don't want that to cause this to pull up. But otherwise, yeah, it'll sit up a little bit off of the page. The last thing that I'm going to do, just to give this a little bit more of a sense of dimension, instead of trimming off the washi, this literally just popped into my head, I'm going to fold it over onto itself so that it's no longer sticky. But now I've got a little bit hanging off of the edge, and that'll also read on the other side just slightly. And I think that's kind of fun. All right, so the last thing that I think I want to do before I put my label on and call this a day is take my micron, and I'm going to go around my ladies just a little bit to help. Actually, no, maybe I won't use this. Maybe I will use, I'm a little bit worried about the glossy surface of the, can't find the one I want. A little worried about the glossy surface of the card. So I'm going to use this photo signature pen. It's made to write on glossy surfaces. I just want to go around the girls sort of loosely, just to help them stand out from the background a little bit. Not going to worry about on the background so much, but definitely on the card, just just to help them stand out a little from what's behind them. And I'm not being super precise. I'm sort of intentionally going a little bit off. I'm not trying to really outline as much as I am trying to sort of highlight them just the slightest bit. I'll give a little bit of texture there. All right, yeah. Okay, so all I need now is my label and I'll be ready to go. I decided not to film this part, but I use this label maker to create my label, just like I have for all of the other pages with the prompt on it, so that I have that record. This is super long, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it down at the bottom. I don't want to cut it in half, so I'm just gonna put it right here at the very bottom of the page and just let it be there. I do feel like they need some words here, so I'm gonna grab my little quote stickers and see if I can find something. So I found my quotes in this clipping sticker book from Tim Holtz Ideology, and I actually grabbed two that I'm going to put together. So the first one says, "To dream of all the happy days," and the other one says, "Taken from the past." So kind of put those two together, and I think that will be fun. So I just have to figure out how to dream of, so maybe we'll cut it here, to dream of, oh, starting to thunder outside. I think we're going to get a storm. So then, to dream of all the happy days taken from the past. Yeah, I think that works. I am gonna grab a little bit of my glitter glue and add it to the back just to help it stick. I also am, in keeping with kind of the vibe of this page, I'm not going to glue down the ends. I'll let them be a little bit loose, so if they end up coming up, that's okay. All right, there we go. All right, so now we have a little message there on the page, and I think that's good. Our prompt of playing cards was a little fun. Not quite what I expected, but I think it works. Thank you, as always, for joining me. I hope that you found something to be inspired by. Get into your own space and make sure that you make something beautiful. Make a great day. See you soon. Bye.